The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi there, I'd like to welcome you all to the latest in the Socrates Lunch and Learn webinar series. This one is designed to cover new functionality in the latest release of the system. With me today I have Louise Murray, who is our support team lead for Socrates, and I'm Donald O'Neill, who's the marketing manager for Clonwilliam Health. Today Louise is going to give you a quick overview of what's been added in the latest release of the system. We also have another webinar next week on our SwiftQueue integration, so please join us for that as well. As always, these webinars will be made available on YouTube after the session, so at some stage this afternoon, and they'll be there for you to refer back to. Again, what I would like to say is if you have any questions as we're going, please do use the question functionality, which is in the toolbar on the right-hand side of the screen. You should see a tab that says questions. If you type your question in there, we'll try and get through as many as we can at the end, but please do ask us questions. We're here to help, and hopefully this will be a beneficial session. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Louise to run through the new functionality. And Louise, this should be coming to you now.
Yep, it's coming through to me now.
Perfect, I can see your screen, yeah.
Okay, thanks. Hello everybody, welcome. So yeah, as Donald was saying there, I'm going to go through the features that came in the latest version of Socrates. So the version is 2.6.5.3, so up at the top left corner here, you'll see that in your Socrates. So not everyone is on it, most people are. It just takes a while to get everyone updated, but the main percentage of people are on that version at the moment. So if not, you will be getting it in the next week or two. So the first thing in the new version that's new is under the patient registration. So under patient maintenance, open patient, we have, just going to anyone really. If I go into Roger here, under the patient status, you have different statuses. You got active, archived, deceased, and inactive. So you've always had that, but in this one, if you choose archived, this is new here now. So you have the option of putting in the date of when you archived them and the reason for the archive. And you just go save to that, and now they're archived when I click on save and close. The other thing that's new in this version is under patient export. So a lot of you will be using the feature now where if someone is moving to a different surgery or you just need to send off a record to somebody, you have the patient record, which just includes the whole patient's record, their notes, their prescriptions, immunizations, scans, letters, etc. So here, just to make sure that you have all the latest reports when you're doing it, down here at the bottom it says no updates available for me because I've installed all of my updates. But if I click on that, if there is updates, you see a window with all the updates that you can possibly install. You just check all the ones that need to be installed and go install, and it takes like 5 to 10 seconds. So under patient maintenance, you have the patient export, and from here now the new section, the new thing that's included in is between dates. So originally this wasn't here. You just had the option to go and export letters, documents, and e-referrals. So under reference, the first thing you need to do is you choose the person that you want to export. So I have Ashley Smith. I just know there's information in her chart. So I select her name, and then underneath that it goes export directory. It's just asking you where do you want to export the file. So from there, you have the option of choosing the directory of where you want to put it. So you put it on, most people put it on the desktop, or you have the option of putting it wherever it is really that you want. So it's just somewhere that you're going to remember where you put the files. So I just have a folder in here called, on the C drive, called patient files. I'll click OK to that. So now if I go run to that, it's going to export all of the patient's file. If I go between dates, and if I just say I only want to bring in the ones from the 1st of the 1st, 2018 onwards, or 2017 onwards, then it will only export the ones between that date criteria. So if you have scans saved into the chart, that goes, the date search on the saved document window is the date used for the date filter. So I'll just click on run to that. And what it's doing is it's exporting all their prescriptions, immunizations, the medical legal report basically, and the scans and the letters. I've already got a folder in there at the moment, so it's just asking me, do I want to overwrite that patient's one? And you just say yes to that. And it's exporting all of that. Now, if you didn't want to export your documents, for example, you just untick that before you click on run. Or if you don't want letters or e-referrals, you just untick them basically. And then its export is complete there. So if I just close that and just minimize Socrates. So I have the folder going to the C drive, but I just put a shortcut in here just to see it. So in here, there's a folder called S, because the name of the patient that we were exporting for was a Smith, so Ashley Smith. So if I go in here, there's Ashley Smith, and this is the medical legal information, all their notes and stuff between that date and time, and then further down is all the allergies, and if there is any export documents, yeah, those are a scanned document. So if I was to close out of this, you can then in turn just send that off, put that on, send that to HealthMail, or send it, put it on a CD or a memory stick, and you give it to the patient. So if I just close this here, the next feature that is not featured, new thing that was added to patient group alerts. So if I was to go in here to patient group alerts, you have on the left hand side under patient maintenance, you've got patient group alerts. So from here you have load group, and you've had this feature for quite a while, but in here you also have two other options. You've got patient with possible heart failure report and patients with heart failure report. So it return everyone that has a heart failure in they're diagnosed with heart failure or possible heart failure. So I'll just for people that don't know how to use the patient group alert, I'll just show you how to do that I'll run the patient with possible heart failure report. If I click on that, from here the window comes up saying patient with possible heart failure, and in here just the default view is just 0 to 0, which means everyone. If I only wanted to look at active patients, or if I wanted to look at all, etc., if I just click on OK to that, it's going to return just everyone. Now I don't have a whole lot in my Socrates. I want to actually use a different one. Sorry, that one has no information. Low group, patient with heart failure report. I just ran the other one by accident. So in here, it's returning 7 patients that have been coded with that note. So you're going to have a lot more. So it's using the ICD-2 and the ICD-10 codes. So these ones here are there's 7. So if I look at these names, I can say, all right, I want to put in an alert under all of these charts, just to say, alert, they have heart failure, and they've been diagnosed with heart failure. So in here, highlight them all and go create group alert. If I only wanted to highlight 7 of them, I can choose, I'm pressing the control button and I'm clicking on the ones that I want then. So, and I'm letting go of control. So I only want to put them into these 5 or 6 ones. And you just go create group alert. And from here, you got 3 different types of alerts. You got appointments, accounts, and consultation. So if you, for some reason, needed to put that in alert under there for appointments, you can put in the alert in there. But I'd imagine the most likely reason you'd need to put that in for would be under consultation. So you can say whatever the message is that you need it to say. And if I go save to that, it's now gone into those 6 patients charts. So if I go into Tony here, just to see what it looks like. So down here at the bottom, the alert is in there now. So the doctor or the nurse, whoever it is, needs to know this information. It will come up here at the bottom. If you were, after making a mistake with the alert where you don't actually need it in any of the charts, it's just finished now, you can just close this. You got, yeah, I'm actually on it already. You got alert history. And in here you've got appointments, there's no alerts in here, accounts, there's none in here, we've put them in under consultation. So in here you got date, category, etc. And then over here on the right hand side, Ethan's 7 charts, and I want to delete this because I don't need it basically. So I'm highlighting that and I'm going to click delete, and now it's gone into the deleted section. So we don't need to see that one anymore because maybe you made a mistake. So the other thing that's new in this version is a filter in the notes section. So I'm just going to close all these windows. SMITH. Yes. So Ashley Smith here again. So if I go into her chart, under the notes section, I have different types of notes. I have normal notes that I've typed out, coded, and co-op messages, and yeah, co-op messages. So down here at the bottom, you see here you've got not standard ones. We got 3 of these and 5 electronic notes. So these are coded notes. So I have 3 of them, and I have 5 co-op messages or electronic messages. So some people were finding that it kind of got bombarded with loads of information, and they didn't want to see all of the co-op messages mixed up with their normal notes that they would type up saying this person has heart failure, they have a rash, or whatever it is that you've put in as your notes. So you can untick that and you don't have to look at them. But if you need to see them, you could just tick them and untick the rest, and then so you can filter it which way you want. So there's a client preference under, so you can choose that you don't want to see those co-op messages by default. So edit preferences. Keep saying co-op messages, but they're electronic messages, so it's a mixture of all the different electronic messages you get. So in here you've got preferences, edit preferences, then under notes, and then here it goes hide electronic notes by default. So if I tick that on this one machine that I'm logged on to, that's going to be turned on now, so I won't be able to see, I won't see them by default. Windows is going to close everything here and go back into the chart. Ashley Smith. And if I go into the notes section, I can see that I don't see the electronic notes by default, but I can still see them if I just click on that.
And Louise, you need to do that for each machine that you don't want to do it. You don't do it at a group level. You set it specifically for whatever machine you don't want it. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Just in case people do still want to see them by default. Some people just find that there's a lot of electronic messages going into some charts, and they find it really hard to follow. So that was just, it's a computer by computer basis.
Yeah.
So the next thing that's new in this version is got to do with marking your documents that you put into the document section to review. So some people, I'm going to close this here, close the windows. So if I go into, so say if I've got a record and I've scanned it in, or if I've got a letter in the post and I scanned it in, or if I've got e-referral, or not e-referral, sorry, if I got a health mail document sent on to me. So just on this computer, I've just put some test documents here just so that I can show you what happens. So if I go into, if I just go into Joe Blogs here, for example. You can attach documents from a patient, from an email, you just save it to your desktop and you can attach it in. So from here, if I go under documents, you've always had this feature, but there's just an extra feature that I'll show you in a moment. So if I go attach file, I want to put in this Joe Blogs letter, and it's the same window that you get when you save a scan in under the scan section. You just fill in the name of the document, and then down here at the bottom you got for review, so who reviews it. So Dr. Dan Evans, and if I say okay to that, then it's in Dan Evans can go into the document reviewer and see what ones that he needs to look at. Because what some people do in some surgeries is they scan in all their documents, and then they whittle out the pages and just say this bundle is for Dr. X, and they bring in the pages into that doctor and then they review it, and then the other bundle for Dr. Y, they bring in the pages in afterwards. So what you can do is when you're saving your documents, you see this window when you're saving them, and you can review them to select who needs to review them, and it goes into their section to review. And they've reviewed it, they'll mark it as, yeah, I reviewed that. So I'm just going to just put in another couple of ones just so that you can see what they look like. So in under my control panel and then document reviewer, you have all the, I'm logged on for today, I'm Dr. Dan Evans. And in here it says I have one file that I need to look at for patient Joe Blogs. If I was to just double click on that, I can read that. This is a Word document. So all the scans can be put in here and the doctor can review them. So when he's reviewed them, he can just go highlight them and go mark as read. And then it'll go into the reviewed section. Say if this file wasn't meant to be for me, it's meant to be for a different doctor review, you can go change HCP and change it to go to whichever other doctor it needs to go to. And yeah, that's that. So what's new in this, for that you've always been able to do that, but I just wanted to show that just in case people didn't realize you could. In this version, if you save a scan or attach a document and forget to mark it as to review by a certain person, you can do that now. So if I go into, I think Ashley Smith here has stuff. If I go into documents, she has 2 scans in her chart, or 2 documents that have been attached in. If I highlight this document and go edit, you can change this now. So for review, you can say Dr. Dan Evans. If it was already marked as someone else to review and they've completed it, you can't change it. So it's already been reviewed, so you can't get someone to review it again. So in here you just go, okay. So now this document is going to go into the document reviewer for Dr. Dan. So if I highlight this one here, and Dr. Dan, he needs to review that one as well. So they have all gone into his review section. So my control panel, document reviewer, the 3 documents are in there now. So if he's reviewed them, he looked at them, mark as read, they're now, it's not in his list anymore. So that's what's new, being able to edit or change the review of a document after you've saved it into the chart.
That's great. Sorry, just a question there from Joyce while we're in this. And can you attach the documents to HealthLink or e-referrals?
HealthLink. Oh, yeah, I'm catching on to the question now. Sorry. So say if you have, so if you're sending off an e-referral to a consultant or a hospital, you have your e-referrals and you send them off. So there's only one hospital that you can attach documents from the document section into an e-referral, and that is the Matter, I think it is. Mm-hmm. So the reason why you can only refer to the Matter is because it's only been turned on in the Matter. So slowly, all the other documents, you've been able to refer to the Matter and attach documents in the last year. So what will probably end up happening is the other hospitals will turn on that option for us to be able to send them off through HealthLink or HealthLink. So yeah, at the moment you can't, but I would foresee that will be an option in the future for when each hospital turns that feature on.
Sure, and no harm for people to sort of start driving it and asking the hospitals to turn on the functionality themselves. It's the only way a lot of them will do it, is if they're getting asked to do it, you know.
Yeah, so it's only on one hospital at the moment, and I'm not even 100% sure if it's all types of referrals for that hospital, but I know I've definitely seen it in one.
Sure.
Another thing got to do with documents that's new, so which I find really good feature, is, so once again, these are the documents that I have on my desktop just to be able to show it. So what a lot of people were doing was, which I was actually showing you a few moments ago, is you go in and you attach the file. So if I go into Ashley Smith here again, and you go documents, and you go documents, and you go attach file, and then you go and you browse and you get to that file. But what's new is, say if I'm in the appointment diary, anywhere at all, it doesn't matter where I am, if I highlight the document on my desktop and just change the size of my Socrates, I can drag this over and this window will come up asking me, who is this file for? And it will save into their chart. So if I double click on Ashley and I can say test file 3 and go okay, and I go into her chart. I need to close her chart for a moment. Ashley Smith, document, there's the file there now. So if I am in any part of Socrates, it doesn't matter where it is, if I drag it over, it will ask me, who is this file for? And it will save into their chart. But if I am in the document section, here, and I drag the file over, it knows that I'm in Ashley Smith, and then you can save the file directly into it. So it's only if you're in the document section. So if I go into the letter section in Ashley's chart and drag it over, you have to search for the person. So that feature is really, really useful. I think that's a great feature. And then in the document section, what's also new is health mail attachments. So obviously, since the GDPR needed to be done, a lot of people have been using health mail now as a secure way of sending documents from one surgery to another or hospital. So in this here, you have now got the option of attaching your documents that you have from your health mail through Socrates. So what you have been doing is you opened up your email in the browser, you opened up the email, and then you saved the document to the desktop or wherever it is, and then you attached it, and then you deleted it off the desktop when you were done. So now what's new is if I go into the document section, down here I've been clicking on the attach file button. So from here, if I click on this little button here and go attach file, so window comes up and it's pretty straightforward. You just have leave these as is, leave them as is, and then here you put in your email address. This is our test one in the office. And then you fill in your password. So, yeah, and then you just go save. And what will come up in a couple of seconds. Oh, I filled in the wrong password. Bear with me for a second. Nope, I had the wrong one. It's at healthmail.com. So you're going to fill in your own healthmail email username and password, and then you click on save. And then it comes up with the default search. So since the 21st of the 5th, 2019, you can go back further if there is any documents. And then in here, so you might get, let's just pretend that you've got 5 emails today of 5 emails, and 2 of them have documents attached to them. You'll see them in here, but you won't see the other 3 because they don't have attachments to it. So if you just sent an email, hello, email, and you get the other surgery get it, they're not going to see that in here. You're only going to see the ones that have attachments. So this one has an attachment and this one has an attachment. So I'm in Ashley Smith, and you would see the information and you just say, all right, that's the one that I need to put in here, and you just double click on that and it comes up the same way that you would be scanning and saving or attaching documents as normal. And you just go okay. So now it's in there now. So if I go to attach health mail again, it's going to remember that now. So I only have to fill in my email address one time, my email address and password one time, and then after that you don't need to fill it in again. So that will be people have been using that over the last few weeks, and it has been, yeah, people have been like that feature. It'll make life a little bit easier. And the next thing that's new is got to do with blood results. So if I was just to go, when goes all this here? So if I'll go into my control panel results viewer. From here, I have hardly any results in here. I've got Ashley Smith has a blood result. So if I was to double click on that and I read it, say, all right, that's the results, and you realize this isn't actually for me, then you can transfer to another HCP. We've always had that feature, but now you have the option, it'll show you what has been modified. So I'm going to say this is actually an abnormal result as well. I'm going to mark that as abnormal, and I'm going to leave it in review. And then I'm going to say this is actually not for me, it's for a different doctor. I'm going to change HCP, highlight the result in HCP, and then you choose whoever it's for and go, okay. So now it's gone from my list, it's gone into Gary Black's. So if I was to go into Ashley's chart again, and go into the investigation section, I see there's the blood result, it's been there. And then to the right of it, you've got a little icon with 3 dots. And if I highlight that, in here, it's giving me a status of everything that's been done. So this is when it got imported. It's for Dr. Dan. It's been marked as abnormal by Dr. Dan. He set it back to in review, and he transferred it to Gary Black. And then if Gary Black looks at that result and he completes it, then it will come up here, Gary Black completed it. So you have had that option of who completed it, but you didn't have the option, it didn't tell you who marked as abnormal or every single status that it's been changed to. So you haven't had that. So that's new. The other thing that's new, which is, it's not even really new, it's just an extra feature. It's one of the last 2 features that we've actually got. So under my control panel, admin console and drugs, people use standard scripts. Not everyone uses standard scripts. If you don't use standard scripts, then you can. There's a manual of it online. I can point you to that. So under standard scripts, the script drugs are alphabetized now. They weren't in alphabetical order originally. They were just put in whichever order that you added them. And then the last thing that's new is when you send off a health link referral, it will include the emergency number field from the practice. So under my control panel, admin console, practice. In here, this is your practice address, etc. And then under emergency mobile number, emergency number, you have that will be included in your health link referrals. And then if you save that, that will be included in your referrals. That's pretty much it for this version. There's another part of it, but that will be shown next week.
That was great, Louise. That was really comprehensive. We just had one other question come in from Joyce again, just on the group alerts, and it was, can you set up group alerts for other groups, for example, CKD?
The only ones that we have are under, so I'll go back into them, patient maintenance, and go to patient group alerts, low group. I'm not 100% sure what that stands for. What did you say, sorry?
The CKD? And I'm not
abbreviation for something, I'm not too sure. But the only one, this might help her, I'm not too sure that stands for. Okay. But under patients, you have full patient listing, you have...
Oh, sorry, she just came back, kidney disease.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. You can do this for any sort of condition that someone would have been marked as. So if you have someone marked as asthmatic or diabetic or have kidney disease or whatever it is, you have them coded and they will be under patient with a certain condition. There is this very specific one so if I just go under patient with multiple condition, it's the same report that she would see under the report section, and she would be trying to find everyone that has a certain disease. So in my one, I don't have any kidney disease coded notes, but I have, I think, one down for asthma. So it'd be the same concept. She would just search for the code in here, but I'm just going to do it for asthma. Asthma. And so patient status, active, patient type all, gender all, age between not and not, include everyone that has been coded with this note. So she will put in the kidney disease one. And if they also use in her surgery the ICD-10 codes, she could put that in there as well. And then if I scroll down, you don't need any of this really. And then if I say okay to that, then Ashley has returned for me. And I can send a group. So if you have loads, I have hardly anything in my test database.
Sure.
They'd have a lot more. and then you create the same way. So those group alerts, you can use them for that sort of stuff, but what a lot of people use it for is for when it's flu season. They use it for flu season for the up until January time or whatever time you finish your flu season, and then after that they delete it. So you'll have, so if you were in the appointment diary, so let's just pretend here, I'm just going to create group alert, and you have your, so you can put in, remind them about their flu shot for when you run that particular group alert report, and then at the end of flu season they can delete it because they don't need it coming up in the middle of July. So yeah, then people mainly use it for the flu, and you can use it for whatever type of condition you have there. So when you're booking an appointment, it will come up flu, get them in for an appointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. That's excellent.
Yeah.
And hopefully that answers your question. Louise, that was really, really good. I'd just like to remind everyone that this will be up on YouTube later on today. If you just search for Socrates Lunch and Learn, you will get a list of this and all of the other ones that we've done to date. And again, we are going to be here next week, so please do join us where we'll be running through the SwiftQueue functionality that has been added to Socrates and sort of how to get set up and how to start using it. So look forward to seeing you there. And Louise has helpfully shown the Socrates Lunch and Learn webinars that are all up there. So there's a lot of content there and a lot of kind of helpful things that will hopefully make your use of the system easier and more straightforward. And as always, look, if you have any questions, please do contact our support guys. They're here to help. And as you've seen today, Louise is an expert on the system, so we'll be able to help you with whatever you need. All right, look, thanks again to everyone for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day and have a great weekend. Thanks very much. Bye.
Yeah. Good luck, man. Bye.